So, I've been seeing this name pop up a bit more recently in the IPTV space, VISNOVAA. They're positioning themselves as a new option for streaming live TV and on-demand content over the internet. On the surface, they look like a lot of other services out there, promising a premium experience. But when you start to dig a little deeper, the picture gets a bit blurry, and you know me, I like to get into the details to really understand what you're getting for your money. Is this the next big thing in streaming, or is it just another service in a very crowded market? This video is going to be a deep dive. We're going to look at what VISNOVAA claims to offer, what their pricing structure looks like, and then, and this is the important part, we're going to stack it up against some of the established heavy hitters in the IPTV world. I've been looking around for independent reviews, performance tests, and real user feedback, and what I've found, or rather haven't found, is pretty telling. We'll explore what makes the top-tier services stand out and see if VISNOVAA even registers on the same scale. It's all about making an informed decision. Before you pull out your wallet for any subscription, you need to know the full story, the good, the bad, and the unknown. This is especially true in a market like IPTV, where quality and reliability can vary wildly. So let's get into it. Let's break down what we know and what we don't about VISNOVAA. Alright, so first things first, let's talk about the price of admission. Looking at their website, VISNOVAA lays out a few different subscription packages. It seems pretty straightforward. The entry point is a 1-month plan for a single device, which they've priced at $15.99. Then they scale up from there. If you want to commit for a longer period and add more simultaneous streams, you can get a 3-month package that supports 3 devices for $79.99. These options are right there on their main page, designed to be the first thing you see. The pricing itself isn't completely out of line with the market, but it's not the most competitive either, especially when you consider what you're getting, or rather, what's not explicitly detailed. The structure itself is pretty standard for the industry. Pay more for longer terms or more devices. But what's interesting is the lack of flexibility. There's no mention of a free trial or even a short-term 24-hour test period, which is something a lot of the more confident providers offer. They want you to commit for at least a month right out of the gate. This immediately raises a small red flag for me. When a service is confident in its performance, its channel lineup, and its stability, they usually want you to see it for yourself. The absence of a trial makes you wonder what they might not want you to see before you've already paid. Now let's get into the marketing, the features that VISNOVAA advertises to get you to click that subscribe button. Their website uses a lot of the language you'd expect. They talk about delivering a premium streaming experience. That's a pretty bold but also very vague claim. What does premium actually mean here? Does it mean 4K streams? Does it mean high bitrate 1080p? Does it refer to the stability and lack of buffering? They don't really specify. It's a classic marketing buzzword that sounds great but lacks any concrete, measurable substance. It's a promise without a spec sheet. They also highlight their customer support channels, specifically mentioning that you can reach them via email and WhatsApp. On one hand, offering WhatsApp support can be a plus. It feels more direct and faster than a traditional email ticket system. But on the other hand, it's also a bit informal for a tech company. The bigger, more established providers usually have a robust ticketing system, detailed knowledge bases, and sometimes even live chat built into their websites. Relying on WhatsApp and email alone could mean support is being handled by a very small team, which might be fine, until it's not. If there's a major service outage, how quickly can that team respond to a flood of messages? So this is where things get really interesting. For any product or service I review, one of the first things I do is look for what other people are saying. I check Reddit, I check tech forums, I look for independent reviews on YouTube and blogs. I check user feedback on sites like Trustpilot. It's all about building a complete picture from multiple sources. And when I went looking for feedback on VISNOVAA, there was almost nothing. It's a ghost town. The absence of chatter is in itself very loud. There are no detailed user reviews breaking down the channel list, no performance evaluations testing for buffering or channel uptime. This lack of a digital footprint is a major concern. In 2024, a service with no online reputation, good or bad, is a huge anomaly. The best services have communities built around them, users sharing their experiences, troubleshooting and giving honest feedback. The worst services also have a trail, usually a long one, of complaints about downtime, poor service, and payment issues. VISNOVAA exists in this strange vacuum where no one seems to be talking about them at all. This makes it impossible to verify any of their claims. Is the streaming really premium? We just don't know because there's no independent data to back it up. Okay, so to understand what's missing from VISNOVAA, let's look at a service that's widely considered a top contender, IPTV SMART. This is what a mature, feature-rich provider looks like. When you look at their spec sheet, it's not just buzzwords, it's numbers. They boast over 20,000 live channels. That's a massive lineup. Plus, they have a library of over 80,000 video-on-demand titles, movies and TV shows. The scale is just on a completely different level. They're not just promising a good experience, they're quantifying it. But it's not just about quantity. IPTV SMART is praised for its quality and technology. They offer true 4K streaming for a lot of their content, which is a key feature for anyone with a modern TV. And they heavily advertise their anti-freeze technology, which is their system for ensuring smooth, stable streams with minimal buffering. This is a direct answer to the biggest pain point for any IPTV user. They also have wide device compatibility with dedicated apps and support for everything from Fire Stick to smart TVs to mobile devices. This is the kind of transparency and feature set that builds trust and a strong reputation. Now let's look at another angle. Not every user needs 20,000 channels. Some have a very specific use case. For sports fans, a provider like IPTV NINJA is often at the top of the list. They've carved out a niche by focusing on delivering a reliable and comprehensive sports package. While they also have a large general channel lineup and VOD library, their reputation is built on the stability of their sports streams. When the championship game is on, the last thing you want is a stream that buffers or dies completely. IPTV NINJA is known for its robust infrastructure that can handle those high-demand live events. This specialization is another sign of a mature provider. They understand their audience and cater to them. They don't just say we have sports, they deliver a product that sports fans can consistently rely on, from local games to major international tournaments. This creates a loyal user base and generates the kind of positive word of mouth that VISNOVAA is completely lacking. When you search for best IPTV for sports, IPTV NINJA's name comes up again and again in community discussions and reviews. That kind of organic reputation is something that can't be bought. It has to be earned through consistent performance. Another major player that consistently gets high marks is IPTVGEAR. They strike a great balance between a massive content library and rock-solid performance, making them a fantastic all-around choice. Their numbers are right up there with the best, offering over 18,000 channels and a VOD library that also exceeds 80,000 titles. So right away, in terms of sheer volume of content, they are competing at the highest level. You're unlikely to be searching for a channel or a show and come up empty. This is a key selling point for users who want a true cable replacement. Where IPTVGEAR really shines, according to user feedback, is in its reliability and support. Reviews frequently praise the service for having minimal buffering and high uptime, which points to a solid server infrastructure. And when issues do arise, their customer support is often described as excellent and responsive. This combination of a huge library and dependable service is what creates value. It's not just about having the channels, it's about being able to watch them without interruption whenever you want. This is the standard that any new service, including VISNOVAA, needs to be measured against. And the list of established competitors doesn't stop there. The IPTV market is crowded with providers that have built solid reputations over time. You've got services like IPTV Follow and IPTV Ops, both known for their massive content volume and competitive pricing. They play the numbers game, offering huge channel lists and VOD libraries to attract users who want the maximum amount of choice for their money. They have a track record and a body of user reviews you can actually read and analyze before you decide to subscribe, which is a critical difference. Then you have others like IPTV and GoTV 4K. These providers often compete on performance, affordability, and specific features. For example, GoTV 4K, as the name suggests, focuses on delivering a high-quality 4K streaming experience, targeting users with premium home theater setups. IPTV Unlock might focus on a super simple user interface or particularly attractive multi-device plans. The point is, each of these services has a known identity and a set of strengths and weaknesses that have been documented and discussed by the user community. They are known quantities, which is something VISNOVAA at this point simply is not. So after looking at what VISNOVAA is offering, or rather what it's not showing, and comparing it to the established leaders in the IPTV space, the conclusion is pretty clear. There's no evidence that VISNOVAA is the best IPTV provider right now. In fact, there's not enough evidence to even rank it among the competition. The complete lack of independent reviews, performance data, or a community footprint is a major red flag in a market where trust and reliability are everything. While the pricing and advertised features might seem standard, there's nothing to verify the quality of the service you'd be paying for. My advice here is simple: approach with caution. If you're still curious about VISNOVAA, the first thing to do would be to ask them for a trial period. If a provider won't let you test their service, that's often a bad sign. In the meantime, your best bet is to compare them against the top providers we've talked about, like IPTV SMART, IPTV NINJA, and IPTVGEAR. Look at their features, their pricing, and most importantly, the wealth of user reviews available for them. A little bit of research can save you a lot of headache and money down the line. Before you subscribe to any IPTV service, not just VISNOVAA, do your due diligence. Make sure it's compatible with the devices you actually own. Read their refund policy very, very carefully. Some services make it nearly impossible to get your money back if you're not satisfied. In a market with so many proven high-quality options, there's little reason to take a gamble on a complete unknown. Until VISNOVAA builds a reputation and offers more transparency, it's probably one to watch from a distance.